going on, traders? So we're going to talk about running the play. I was talking about that in Euro USD in a previous video, and we ran the play on pound CAD. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, when I talk about running the play, just very quickly, too many traders out there, you think you need to know everything about trading. It's just not true. What you need to know is your system and your play, and you need to be able to recognize the play when it's setting up. You know, you're there, you're back, you're about to get the ball hiked to you, and you see the players moving around. Think Peyton Manning in his prime. Did he know how to run the play? Tom Brady, obviously, he knows how to run the play. The players are getting set up on the field, and then when he sees it, he knows exactly which play to run. You need to have a couple different plays or just one play in your playbook and the patience to be able to run that play when it's time to hike the ball and pass it downfield. Let's get right into it. I'm currently in, side note, this isn't what this video is about, Euro New Zealand right now. This is a really, I think, good setup. I mean, we just hit session change. You never know because the spreads get super wide and you're like, is this turning around or is it going in my favors? We'll see. To me, I like it a lot. Looking on it on the 4-hour time frame and the 2-hour time frame looks really good as well. And the way I'm doing this without getting too deep into the nuts and bolts and secrets of my strategies, I'm looking at multiple time frame confirmation. If we look at pound CAD today, 120 pip trade, just a 1 to 3, bang it. We got into just a little bit of drawdown here. This is significant for a couple different reasons. We had a huge pullback on the 2-hour time frame. I've been switching a lot back and forth. I like the 2-hour just because it gets you a little bit closer than a 4-hour, and so you can see the candlesticks and the patterns setting up a little bit better. The 1-hour can get a little too micro, but you know, it's still a good setup. Now, of course, I have an envelope on here, simple moving average, and I'll show you my secret weapon at the moment for identifying trends. And I like to use the VWAP. This is a tactic that I kind of made my own that I learned from Austin Silver, who's working with us at Top One. Awesome guy. I'm going to be on his podcast that hadn't dropped yet, but it's going to be a funny conversation, by the way. So if we're looking at here, I like this auto anchored VWAP, and the reason is I'm looking for setups outside of here. So if you have been in one of my mentoring groups, the accelerator group or anything like that, I am looking to stay out of the ranges, and my whole system is how to find what's trending. I use VWAP on a certain anchor point and then trade around that anchor point and look at what specifically is trending in the market, right? So we had our big pullback right here. And so let's take the bells and whistles off of here. For anybody that's like, this dude's just using a bunch of indicators. For one, yeah, you may be right about that. But the thing is, I made the indicators. I made them. But the thing is all they are reference points. I'm not following the indicators as much as I'm using them as a reference point so I can identify where we are specifically in the trend and specifically within a pullback in the trend, because you know what I'm looking for is more momentum based than anything. So we retested. This was the pullback here. I got some tunes on here, rocking some pretty lights. So here's got my moving average on here. Also going to employ my envelope, and this is making a nice confluence down here. So this is my confluence of support. Price came back, and we're still looking super bullish. And I actually am going to tell on myself a little bit. I was in this, woke up in the middle of the night. Don't wake up in the middle of the night and check your trades, because it's going to be the middle of the night and you're going to be half asleep and you're going to be like, oh shit, it's going in the wrong direction, and end up closing something or doing something stupid, which is exactly what I did. And I closed out in a good chunk of my position. And then of course, woke up and it had, full blown rallied. It's better to do your best to set and forget. Looking at this, here is our pullback. And so once I identify using the momentum, which is here, using the entry confirmation tool, which is here, I'm setting alerts on my different indicators. And what this does, I have a watch list. And so now when price is about to hit my key levels, I get an alert, then that way I don't have to sit in front of the charts all day long. If you're a new trader, you're a beginner trader, you're probably sitting and looking at your charts all day long, or your phone. What's that going to lead to? If you think it's going to lead to over trading and just like putting trades on for the sake of doing it because you think it's fun, which when you're new to this, it is fun. After a while, you get kind of jaded and you're just like, okay, I don't care about the thrill of it. Now, of course, there is a thrill involved. I don't care about how clean my charts look. I like my charts to look clean. They always look the same, but like I'm done comparing my analysis with somebody else's because that just turns into a pissing contest, right? So like if somebody's like, dude, look at all these indicators on the chart. Again, it's my system and all it is a map. I see this as a map rather than a chart. It's a treasure map, basically. So then price pulls back. Then from this point, I'm measuring my Fibonacci's. I'm measuring the move from various Fibonacci levels. So this is, one of the key parts of my play and my playbook. And the reason why I choose to use Fibonacci and rely on it, always do the best when I'm using it, is because as long as my placement is right, then it's objective. If I'm measuring the move, this is the pullback level of the move. There's no like disputing it. Whereas if, say, I was going to do a trend line, easy example, if I'm going to make a trend line, I could be like, oh, okay, so this trend line goes from here and it hits that wick, but then it kind of hit this one and then it kind of goes through here a little bit, but then the candle breaks through. So maybe I'll just make my trend line like this because it kind of fits, and then I'll just have it right here. It's all kind of subjective rather than objective. So if I put my Fibonacci from the previous low to high, and I have some rules around that, I won't get into that today. I'll save some videos for Fibonacci mastery or new training or something like that on exactly how I do it and the placement. I really want to just get the point across today is wait for that play to set up and be able to identify it. And then once the play, and this was super impulsive move. With such a big impulse, I was looking for us to turn around, and here we got in a little drawdown right there, got a little hairy, and then we started to take off. Right there, I'm just going to backtrack one more candle, was right where I closed out of well over half of my position, and dude, it was going to be a banger. Boom, right? And then I closed out like halfway in that and then woke up and like 2 hours later and it was a whole different story. It's better to just commit and run the play. Once you decide that you're running the play, then it comes down to, hey, am I running this thing or not? And so that's exactly what we did. We had a nice trade here. It really just turned out to be a great play. We're going to exit replay mode. What you need to do and what I would recommend, by the way, the play is not exactly finished because we want to identify the levels so we can milk this play for all it's worth. I would look for some sort of pullback. If we made some sort of support right here, and I would generally use a Bollinger Band to help identify where that would be. I think it's going to be an awesome opportunity for a re-entry there. That's exactly what I did with pound CAD. How I look at it, and have had a breakthrough recently in terms of my psychology which is what I'm sharing with you, running the play. All you got to do is run the play. But if you're trying to run, my play and then some other guru's play, by the way, I'm not a guru, found a top one. I also trade and do other stuff. But I've had some high moments and some extremely low moments doing this. And so anybody that would tell you otherwise, you should probably they're not telling you the rest of the story. Or they're just not doing it. That's the thing. So anyways, don't go to mine. Don't go to somebody else's. Get dialed in on something that you resonate with. And that's what I did when I learned from my mentor. And then something started working for me. And I started to just hammer down and hammer down and hammer down on the same thing consistently over time, tweaking it and making it better. And then also getting dialed in on my own pattern recognition. And then ultimately the real name of the game is your risk management and your trade psychology. Everybody knows it's I would say it's 95% of trading. Everybody knows that, but but it's easy to say, yeah, man, 90% psychology. I got that part figured out. I would suggest, and people might disagree with me on that. If you don't have a strategy, then how can you work on your psychology? It goes hand in hand. Hope you resonated with this video. And if you did, click the like button, comment, subscribe, share this with somebody. We are working with traders every single day with Top One, and I'm going to be doing some cool things on our YouTube as well. So that's super exciting. Be sure to turn your notifications on. I'll see you in the next video, and let's run the play, guys. Peace.